everybody came out to show me love. And they've all been super cool throughout life. As I've gone on in life, we've all been connected because I remember we being in the mess, having those conversations. And again, my background being a DC, but black shoe guy, like a lot of them, we all come from similar backgrounds, paths, and advice, mentorship, whatever it was. So, but it's an interesting place to be a crew member because you're embarking and you're essentially an echelon or two away, right? And it's like you said, Cause is on the phone yelling at CTF 76 when the captain's downstairs. And as a matter of fact, the captain was one of the best naval aviators in like Navy history. Captain Crozier was a freaking hero, bro. I don't care. I will fight for that dude. Like I remember when he walked off the Theodore Roosevelt in Guam, right? I took him a bottle of Scotch that night. He had COVID, right? He had COVID. I was running the COVID response on the installation. The CMC, Gary, he just wants a bottle of booze. I'm like, I got you, bro. Went down to the booze because I had just been drinking with him downtown Guam, like weeks before that, reminiscing on 7th Fleet staff and like Captain Rexroad losing his shit all the time.
Oh yeah.
We were laughing about it. And then what's funny, I'm sitting in Guam on calls with 7th Fleet and Rexroad's on the other end of the phone losing his shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure he was.
What you got to learn about the guy? He just was, again, he's just very deliberate. Very deliberate. So as we wrap up your 7th Fleet staff time, because you ended up leaving there right about when I left there, I feel like, right?
Yes. So 7th Fleet was unique for me because, I'll go back a little bit. When I got there, Dave Vest was the SCL, and he was looking to turn it over, and he said he'd already kind of like, hey, you're gonna be the guy. And so then I left and came back, and you had showed up. So obviously you're the guy now because you're CMC. And so that story ties into the next command. That's why I'm bringing it up. So it was going to be an SCL, be in DLCPO, love my life, whatever, it's good. And then we were actually finishing up our first deployment. I think we were in Singapore, and we had noticed Gunner had been just a little slow in development. Well, we had him evaluated. He got diagnosed as like autistic. And so that is where, again, the command came through because Gunner was Iris's dependent, not mine, because the Navy cannot figure out for some reason how to list a dependent under a mom and dad as a both active duty. They're incompetent. I don't get it. So they're like, oh, we're going to send Iris home, but we don't know if we're going to send you back because you're operational here. That's when Chris Sherman was like, hey, I got you. And that's where I'll never forget. When I got my end of tour award, Cosner X Road, I said, so I want to thank you for getting me out of here, be with my family. He's like, I will never forget this. He's like, if we can't help out somebody who's like the number one EP, then what are we doing? Like, we can't help out the guy that gave so much. Then what are we doing here? And that resonated with me because I was like, I put a lot in, between CPOA and running seasons and ops LCPO. I felt like I had really invested myself in that command because I loved that command. I really enjoyed my time there. And then when my time got cut short about a year early, he was like, no, we'll take care of you. And within a few months, I had orders back to where did I go next? I had orders to 2nd Fleet staff because the detailer was like, listen, you're too senior. You're one of the more senior chiefs. I got to keep you somewhere that keeps you in a senior position. So you're not going to go to like the weather center because you're basically like, that's a down step. I said, okay. I said, buddy, send me wherever you got. Whatever you think is going to be best for me, career in the Navy, I'm good. So they sent me to 2nd Fleet, which was just standing up. They